Hello and welcome to Experience of the Soul. This is a weekly space to help you grow, prosper, and take ownership of your life. Today we're getting into an unpopular dialogue. This episode is all about empowerment, reclaiming your agency, reconnecting with spirit, and gently asking the question that opens the door to real transformation. So we invite you to listen with an open heart and allow what resonates to meet you exactly where you are.
Hello and welcome to the Experience of the Soul podcast. My name is Cynthia Alice Anderson. I'm the host. I'm here today in my new home studio. So happy to be coming to you from here today. And I'm here with my producer, Mr. Sean Kilgore. And nice to have you, Sean.
Oh, it's great to be here. A happy new year to everybody. I know, this is our second episode of 2026 and really excited about the direction that we're heading in. This is episode 395 of the Experience of the Soul. And this is, of course, Monday, January 12th, but you might be joining us at any time. So welcome. Thank you for joining us whenever you might be listening or watching. We appreciate you being here. Before we jump into today's show, as always, we want to bring you this week in spiritual history. So, of course, we talked a little bit about this, I think, last week, but by mid-January, the new year is no longer kind of theoretical, we're living in it, right? It's happening. So we talked about some of those New Year's resolutions already feel maybe a little bit shaky. That's okay, right? You're not alone. There's a well-known study that you actually mentioned the other day about how most resolutions kind of fall away by the 7th of January. So not as a failure, but as we want to bring that up just as a reminder to really choose sacred intention over pressure. Something again that you've mentioned a couple times. So I just want to bring that back around.
Oh, no. I'm glad you did. As we're in the new year, and like you say, we're halfway through January already. And I think for all of us, Sean, life seems so busy right now that to make time for your sacred intentions is so important. Otherwise, life just goes on and things grab our attention. So I think it is important to bring it up. It's like whatever you give your attention and intention to, this is what we manifest more of. So, I mean, it takes a great deal of discipline, really. So we're here as a gentle reminder, not a push, but like a little nudge, right. like we love you, we bless you. Don't forget to remember who you are, as we keep saying.
Yes.
In the new year. Yeah.
What's interesting is that many of these different spiritual traditions that we talk about in this segment around the world, they don't really treat January as a time of like forcing big change at all. There's the festivals like the ones we're going to talk about in today's segment. Mm-hmm. They sort of honor the return of light and warmth and courage and devotion, not instant transformation, which we, kind of tend to make the new year about, but turning the season toward what will eventually grow. It's funny. Like I saw this thing on social media the other day and said something like, winter has always been a time for reflection and restoration and tending to our inner fire and feeding the roots beneath the surface. And the earth's true new year arrives in spring, when light returns and the soil warms and life emerges.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And this year we got a little time. We know that doesn't happen until March 20th for us here. So if your resolutions aren't holding, that's okay, right? Sacred intention often moves more slowly, and it's guided by patience and rhythm and trust and all those
things, all those qualities we are always speaking about. Yeah.
So that said, let's jump into it. So tomorrow, Tuesday, January 13th, is what's known as Lohri. This is celebrated primarily in northern India. Lohri marks the end of winter and honors the return of light, warmth, and longer days. For those in India, they light bonfires, they sing songs, and gratitude is offered for abundance and protection. Spiritually, Lohri reminds us to celebrate survival and to honor the light that carries us through the colder seasons of life. Yeah, I thought that was beautiful.
Well, it is. And it's funny for us in Florida. I think that's another reason we have a different feel at the beginning of the year, too, is, we're not in the winter months where everything is dying. Like I really connected with that differently when I lived in Kansas City and there was snow and, ice everywhere. So, yeah.
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 This Wednesday, January 14th, is what is known as Makar Sankranti. This is in the Hindu
Mhm.
tradition. Makar
Mhm.
Sankranti celebrates the sun's shift into Capricorn. So this symbolizes movement again toward longer days and renewed energy. So,
Mm.
we can see, kind of universally, we're all kind of moving in the same direction. This is considered a highly auspicious time for clarity and generosity and spiritual practice. This day
Yeah.
invites us to consciously shift direction toward what nourishes our growth.
Amen. Wow, wow, wow. That's a
Yeah.
good one.
Now we turn to the Sikh tradition, also this Wednesday. The Magi commemorates courage and sacrifice and steadfast faith. This is Magi. I'm sorry, I think I pronounced that incorrectly. Magi. So this is honoring those who stood firm in their spiritual commitments. It's a powerful reminder that integrity and devotion often show themselves most clearly in difficult moments. I'm going to say that again because that actually resonates with me.
Uh-huh.
Integrity and devotion often show themselves most clearly in difficult moments.
Wow. True. That's very,
Yeah,
very true, isn't it? Mhm.
yeah. And the courage leaves a lasting imprint.
Mhm.
Yeah. This
Beautiful.
Saturday, January 17th, is the feast of Saint Anthony the Abbot. So this is known as the patron saint of animals and spiritual seekers. Saint Anthony is remembered for choosing
Yeah.
simplicity
Yeah.
and prayer and inner stillness. His life encourages us to step back from excess and reconnect with what is essential, listening for the quiet wisdom that emerges in solitude and silence.
Beautifully said. Yeah.
Hmm. And this was a really funny just for fun day because of everything that we talked about. But this Saturday, January 17th, is actually Ditch New Year's Resolutions Day. It's an actual day. Like they say, okay, everybody, we're done. Uh, a playful reminder that growth doesn't require rigid rules. Growth doesn't require rigid rules. Sometimes the most spiritual act is self compassion.
Yes.
Yes, adjusting expectations and choosing grace over guilt.
Mhm. Yes, yes. Well, and again, Sean, it harkens back to exactly what we were saying, which is if you're coming from the spirit and soul, there's not going to be guilt because they're not these resolutions that are impossible to reach. I mean, when I hear some of the things people expect that they can do with, zero support on some of these things, or enough knowledge to make them happen. Oh, I want $1 million. I want to lose 50 pounds in 2 months or 3 months or whatever. Those
Yeah.
are not realistic, and
Yeah.
the spiritual work, which does guide us forward, really helps us, but it is a long process, and everybody wants a quick fix. And the problem with those quick fixes is they quickly unfix too, so they don't, that they're not lasting, unfortunately. Yeah, so it,
Yeah.
it is a great reminder about the resolutions. I think it's kind of funny, really.
Yeah, me too. Me too. So, friends, something to think about as the year settles in. What would it look like to move forward with warmth, courage, and kindness toward yourself as much as toward others?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with that, friends, welcome officially episode 395 of Experience of the Soul. This is an unpopular dialogue. Can't wait.
Well, yes, friends, welcome again and happy new year again. I am really excited about the new year and all that we're going to be bringing to you on the channel. We were just talking about before coming on air the upcoming live episode in person. So anyway, we'll tell you more about that as the time approaches. But my friends, I want to have what I call an unpopular dialogue. And as the new year has begun, as we've been saying, we're not quite halfway through the month of January, and our resolutions have gone by the wayside. But most of you that are holding sacred intentions are continuing to move forward, and you have very specific dreams, goals, and desires. And it's very common for us, especially in the US, to be thinking about next steps at the new year. For us, it's a time of new energy. We often think of, okay, what do I want to do this year? And so many of us on the spiritual journey did that powerful release on December 31st. So what we've done is pave the way for, new and exciting energy in our life and world. And, the next few weeks, we want to be talking about how you do actually move into experiencing those things. And part of the unpopular dialogue aspect is that we, in fact, are personally responsible for what is coming into our life and world. And so much of our country, so much of the world itself right now is looking for someone to blame. I come back to this idea often because I feel like we are taking away our own power when we look outside of us for somebody to blame. And so, as this is a rich time of thinking about moving forward, of what do we want to manifest, in the new year. I just had an old friend reach out about the mastermind, which was so great that we started last week, to join us. It meant the world to me because this is somebody I've seen manifest and move forward. I thought it was great. Here we are in another January, and here she is ready to move forward again. A couple of other gentlemen, my other mastermind, was just chock full of amazing people ready to do this very thing. And the one consistent aspect of all of these individuals that are taking my classes is they are responsible for their life and world. They are personally responsible, and that they are setting goals. They are making a daily time. They're making daily times to connect and be with God. They are doing their personal work by doing individual sessions, seeking to know more of how they're getting in the way of their own growth and forward movement. And this is what I want to bring to light to us, that you are more powerful than you think. And I thought it was so interesting that as Sean interviewed me last week, that this idea kept coming forward, that I mentioned in that show that after I turned 50, something changed. And I realized if there's something not happening in my life and world that I want or desire, I just need to look here for the reason why. I know there's nobody to blame. Having said that, do we all have things we have to overcome? We do. Some of us have cultural issues. Some of us have issues that we carry literally in our DNA. Some of us have childhood wounds, or I should say, all of us have childhood wounds. So I'm not saying we don't have things that impact our soul journey and process. What I'm saying is that we have the power to overcome any of those things. A scripture that I've been working with again after so many years. It's been really interesting to come back to this scripture in John 1. There's a scripture that says, "The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness did not overcome it." The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness did not overcome it. So, no matter what you have been through, no matter what is going on in your life and world, you have the power to dream big, and to make those dreams, goals, and desires manifest. So, my friends, the unpopular dialogue is asking ourselves the question, where am I in this? If there's something I need, want, desire, and I'm dreaming of, and I keep not manifesting it, where am I in this? So we have to look in the mirror and ask ourselves a very unpopular question. Where am I in this? If I want something, if I desire something and I'm not moving forward, where am I in this? Where am I in this? Why am I not moving forward? And that's where the soul work comes in. Now, as we talk about the soul work, sometimes it sounds arduous, like, soul work. And sometimes it is. But what I find it to be most of the time is pretty exciting, because I can see that whatever the blocks were, that those are healable and movable. So that means I'm in the driver's seat of what energy I invite into my life, what energy I allow to guide my life. And then if there's energy that needs to be released, I release that out of my life. And often they're just self-defeating, self-limiting habits and beliefs. In other words, the only thing keeping me from manifesting my dreams, goals, desires, and intentions is my very own self and my limited view of what I'm capable of doing and being. That said, as I grow and develop, as I age, I have a brother-in-law I love who will often say, "Well, as we age," and so as I age, I know anything is possible for me, but I also know it's less about having and more about being. Like, who do I really want to be? What is the legacy I want to leave for my son, my family, for those I love, for spiritual communities I've served? What is a legacy I want to leave? So it's not up for me and my dreams, goals, desires, and intentions. It's not so much about getting, even though there's nothing wrong with having. It's more about the quality of my life, the peace that I feel, the joy that I have, the time that I have for family and connection. It's knowing God at the very heart and soul of me. So, my friends, I hope you're connecting with this. I hope you're understanding what I mean. Anything is possible for me. My dreams, goals, desires, intentions, all can be made manifest. And if they are not coming forward for me, the work is with me. The work is with me. So, part of my work, you've heard me talk about this many, many times, and I wanted to bring it to the forefront today because so often, whatever I'm experiencing, many people tell me that it helps them because they're right there. And it's amazing how spirit guides my process and that it supports you. I'm so grateful when that happens. I've been in a process. I restarted my 70 times 7 forgiveness practice. I just went through a big move. I've had a lot going on, both personally and professionally, all good. I'm so happy, excited, delighted. I'm at peace. I feel a lot of support, from the universe. But when so much is going out financially and so much is going out energetically, I start to ask myself, okay, is there forgiveness work I need to do to get back in the flow? And of course, for all of us, we have busy times, and that's fine. But my sense is, as I moved into this new arena of my life, that there are certain ways of doing, certain ways of thinking and being that need to be released, so I can be fully present to myself and really experiencing as I want these dreams, goals, desires, and intentions. I'll give you a very clear example, which is that a few years ago, I decided I really wanted to live by the water. And where I grew up, we didn't have a big body of water. I grew up in Georgia, but there was a creek, that ran through our property that I played in most every day. I mean, of my childhood, even up until my teenage years, I went there so often to pray or to just sit and think. And I was actually meditating, even though I didn't know what that was. So water has always been very special to me. And then in this move over here, it is such a manifestation of a dream I had several years ago. And as I held this dream, goal, desire, and intention, my first thought was that I was going to be moving back to Georgia after my son graduated, and my life took a very different turn. I met someone very unexpectedly, and life is a joy. And not only did I meet someone incredible who has kids as well, that brings me a lot of joy as well. But I also get to be by the water, which was an intention. So, my friends, uh, it's amazing to watch how we start to set those intentions and then just have faith in the process as we move forward. We set our intentions, we move forward, and then we release what no longer is in alignment with that new energy and consciousness. So I was telling you that about the water because my work is was to really release any resistance to being able to have what it is I want and desire. It's like it's okay to be happy. Life does not have to be a struggle. I get to be happy. I get to be at peace. I get to have joy. I get to have more family right here with me. I get to have more kids in my life that bring me a lot of joy. I get to be close to my job. Like I get to have the many, many things that I want and desire. Right. And so the forgiveness is like a it's almost, what's the word? It almost helps me accept the good that I'm experiencing and not resist it. And I don't know why it's hard for me to resist good for my life, but sometimes it is. Sometimes it's hard for me to accept the good in and just enjoy it. So the forgiveness of the past, the forgiveness uh, of former thought forms, the forgiveness of myself for times I've missed the mark in my life or in my decisions or as a parent. Anyway, it's been very, very powerful to do this forgiveness work. So the work I did, because I'm still really in the process, but the work I did before leaving Orlando was to take Orlando up the 7 steps of release that we've talked about so often of Jane Elizabeth Hart. And then the work now that I'm here on the coast, the work is to uh, do my 70 times 7. And so every day I am writing the words, I forgive myself totally and completely. And I'm writing that 70 times for 7 days. And after that, I've got another process right behind it. So, my friends, I want to enjoy all the good that God has for me. If I'm wishing something else was going on, if I'm not present to the good I have right here, right now, if I cannot release old thought forms and old resistance to my happiness, then I can't fully be here now. And so this is what I want to do. So as we're moving into more dreams, goals, desires, and intentions, especially because of the time of year it is, I want to really encourage you to search your heart and ask. Again, I'm repeating this on purpose. Where am I in this? Is there something I am needing to release? Is there something I am holding on to unconsciously that needs my attention? It might need your attention financially, it might be mentally, it might be emotionally, it might be spiritually. Is there something I'm holding on to that needs to be released into the light of God? And as we release it, to forgive it, and release it with love, forgiveness, and blessings into the light. So if there's something you desire and it's not coming forward, forgiveness is the key. Forgiveness is the key. And if this is for you very personally, that there are dreams, goals, and desires that you just can't seem to move forward on, I want you to start the forgiveness work with yourself. Having said this, my friends, I know that God has already forgiven you. And on some level, you know this, but there is something that happens. It's almost magical to me, the power of forgiveness, because as we forgive ourselves, what we're really doing is inviting unconditional love from the divine in and through us. And it helps us release toxic energy, whatever that may be, and move into more love, more genuine and spiritually based power and energy. And I want you to think about what would be healthier, holding on to old toxic energy or moving into more powerful spiritual based energy. In other words, living from love in a different way towards yourself. Because however you are loving yourself, you are going to love others in the same way. One of my mentors, I was listening to an old talk of hers the other day. I should mention the talk is so old. It was first on cassette, then on CD, then I put it on my computer. So that's how old the talk is. I think it's from the 90s and it's accurate today. But one of the things she said on there was um, that we want to say spiritually that we unconditionally love people, but in fact, we can only love people as we love ourselves. And it's why so often we talk about forgiveness and self love, is because we know when we truly do love ourselves, that's how we love everyone. That's all we can do because that's the only way we know. That's the only way we know. So, as you're thinking about, the new year and what you're wanting to manifest, I want you to really be conscious of asking the question, where am I in this? Where am I in this? And am I keeping myself from a dream, goal, desire, or intention? Am I giving my power away by being too busy and too distracted by my phone, by my computer, by social media, by talking to friends when I should be focusing on my own work? Where am I in this? Where am I in this? And to ask that unpopular question, because as you do that, the true healing can really manifest for you. You don't need to go and do a lot of spiritual retreats and read every self-help book you can. Even though all those things can be helpful. The most helpful is the work of the soul that you do in the quiet of your very own room when you shut everything out and you light a candle and you get out a pen and a piece of paper and you pray and you meditate and you do your forgiveness work in the form of journaling and release. This is when life begins to really, really change and you begin to do the deeper work of the soul. Everything else is talking about the work. And I want to encourage you to be doing the work of the soul. So, my friends, I want the best for you. I want God's best for you. I want God's best for myself. I'm wearing my YHWH t-shirt or sweatshirt today that I mentioned last week on the show. And I love wearing it. I love wearing everything from that company, Kingdom and Will. I love their products because it helps me stay on track spiritually, just to look in the mirror and see it. I love it. So, but if you are wanting to move forward this on your dreams, goals, desires, and intentions, this is a powerful time for you. It's a powerful time because there's already a lot of energy of desire and moving forward and making things new. You'll hear a talk, or maybe it was from last week, but you'll hear a talk coming out on the podcast channel. I'm doing a series at Unity of Daytona Beach called All Things New. And we're talking about this very thing, about setting your sacred intention, about doing the work of your soul, and about remembering you have the power to change your life for the better. So as you do the work and as you get clear, and I hope you're thinking about, next steps for yourself, but as you get clear about dreams, goals, desires, and intentions, that as you write them down and as you start to, visualize and do the work, if something's not moving forward, ask yourself the unpopular question, have that unpopular dialogue with yourself. Where am I in this? This will enable you to get honest. It will enable you to grow. It will enable you to heal. And forgiveness is going to be a key in helping you do just that. So if you want more about my forgiveness process, I should mention I do have a book on Amazon called 7 Spiritual Laws of Release. I also have a book called Intentions, which is the daily journal process. Either of those would really support your journey, especially as you're doing the deeper work, because it'll help you give a task to do. And that task will help take you deeper and start that journaling process for you. That said, you don't have to purchase anything. Simply sit down with a pen and paper and every day for 7 days, write, I forgive myself totally and completely. Write it 70 times for 7 days. I encourage you to go to sleep saying, I forgive myself totally and completely every night until you fall asleep. my friends, do the work of the soul and allow this gift of forgiveness to move in and through to help you create the dreams, goals, desires, and intention that you hope to manifest and bring forward in your life. For me, my forgiveness work, one more time, has been to accept all the good God has for me and to forgive myself for any past resistance as I move into good, into wholeness, into living by the water, into a partnership and kiddos and all kinds of new joy and love. So, Sean, were you going to come in and say something here at the end?
If I may, I just wanted to
Yeah.
pop in and say, as you're listening, if you, whatever podcast platform you're listening on, scroll down into the show description.
Oh, yeah.
Towards the bottom, you'll see a link that says Everything RCA. You click that link and you'll see a direct link to shop her books on Amazon if you're interested in doing that. So I just wanted to pop in and say that.
I forgot you did that for me, Sean. Thank you.
Yeah, totally.
And speaking of that, a part of the new good, Sean, I want you to stay in here, is
Okay.
you may see a little bit of a new look on the podcast channel. We're so excited about the new design and feel it is a little bit updated and more indicative of the feel of the show. And even this window with the light shining through behind us. I mean, this is, this is exactly the intention, that the light of God shines in and through us and in and through our listeners. So this is a really powerful time for us on the channel, and we appreciate all of our viewers and listeners, that are with us on this journey.
Absolutely. And we would love to hear from you. So again, on your favorite podcast platform, most of them, you'll see the very first thing in the show description, you'll see send us a text. But you can also always reach us by going to the contact page of CynthiaAliceAnderson.com.
Yes, and we are back on social media with the podcast channel.
Yes, exactly. I totally forgot
Sean,
we haven't talked about that yet.
Well, we haven't. I was going to tell everybody that Sean didn't care how I felt about it. He said we needed to be out there, but it's great. It's great for me too, because friends, the things I don't like about social media, there are many. But what I do like is that it enables us to stay in touch and people to get supported somewhat spiritually and make them aware of my work. All we want to do, my friends, is reach people around the world. We're happy that we get to make a living that way too. But friends, this is a labor of love. I can't tell you how many months I've gone without pay to make sure that the message is getting out there. We believe strongly that you're a soul. We believe that if you just can remember who you are, that you will live a life of goodness, wholeness, abundance, and peace, and be a blessing to the world, which of course is what we all want and need at this time. So anyway,
Absolutely.
Sean's doing it.
You can find us. Sorry, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram as Experience of the Soul podcast channel.
Yes. I just wanted to put that out there, and I don't really do a personal page. If there's one still sitting there, it's only because it has to be. But we really, we just want to get you the message, my friends. You probably don't want to see a picture of every puppy picture I have. So, or every plate of food I eat. I don't know. I do plate well. I enjoy cooking, but other than that, yeah. Anyway, friends, this is our hope for you, that you're having a great new year. I hope that our principles are supporting your journey. And, as we move forward, you're going to hear more this month about, faith in the process, moving forward on your journey, and just trusting the love of God is there for you as you continue to do the work of your soul. So, my friends, thank you for joining us today. As always, we love you. We bless you. Thank you for listening, and blessings on the journey.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of the Experience of the Soul podcast with Cynthia Alice Anderson. This show is made possible by listeners like you, and your support helps keep these conversations available to all. If this podcast has supported you, you're invited to share it with someone you love or support the show at CynthiaAliceAnderson.com/donate. Produced by Kilgore Creative and a production of the Soulworks Group Incorporated. We are so grateful for you, and we are holding you in prayer for God's highest and best in your life. Blessings on the journey.